It's the Wednesday edition of the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land and hosted by me, Rolene Marks, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines every Monday to Thursday. Now, just a heads up, we won't be on air next Monday and Tuesday because of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, but we will be back next Wednesday and Thursday. But in the meantime, let's take a look at those top stories, and for this we go straight to the United Nations. Yesterday, the annual UN General Assembly opened, and Secretary General Antonio Guterres opened up the session by addressing conflicts in the world, and he specifically mentioned, amongst others, the situation between Israel and the Palestinians. Now, the UN General Assembly, which takes place over a period of about 10 days to 2 weeks, is the opportunity for world leaders to address their peers, their colleagues in the plenary. And of course, in Israel, we look at it as a kind of an extravaganza because we look to see who the strategic leaders that affect our lives in the region are and what they are saying. So yesterday was the turn of the president of Chile, who took to the podium and spoke about how he believes that the international community should not allow or not support human rights violations for the Palestinians and adhere to international law and the resolutions party said in this very body. However, he also went on to reiterate that he supports Israel's right to legitimacy, and that must be protected, as well as Israel's rights to live within safe and secure borders. Now, this follows a very, very intense diplomatic spat last week when the president refused to accept the credentials of Israel's ambassador to Chile. There have been apologies made since, and this ceremony will go ahead on the 29th of September. Also addressing the plenary was King Abdullah of Jordan. He spoke about many things, but he also very controversially said Christians in Jerusalem are under fire. Now, this, of course, will raise the ire of many, given the situation for Christians in other parts of the Middle East. However, Prime Minister Lapid, very busy with a whole lot of meetings on the side of the initial plenary, met with King Abdullah. Amongst the various issues they discussed, economic cooperation, personal cooperation between Jordanians and Israelis. He also spoke and appealed to the king to help calm any tensions before we approach the Jewish high holidays of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. He also reiterated to the king that Israel will do everything in our power to ensure that we maintain security for our citizens. The Prime Minister also met with Turkish President Erdogan on the side of the UN. This is the first time an Israeli president has met with an Israeli Prime Minister has met with the Turkish president since 2008. Among the various topics they discussed, they addressed the resumption of flights between the two countries, increased cooperation, but also spoke about the need to combat terror. As we know, there are Hamas cells operating in Turkey, and we had the recent situation with Iran targeting Israeli citizens who were vacationing in Turkey. He also spoke to the Turkish president about the need to bring home the captive civilians and the remains of soldiers who fell during the 2014 Operation Protective Edge in Gaza. And if that wasn't enough for our Prime Minister, he also met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, where he stressed to the Secretary General the importance of combating discrimination against Israel at the United Nations, as well as scrapping the Commission of Inquiry. Now, this Commission of Inquiry we have spoken about a lot here on the Israel Brief, and this is into alleged crimes or war crimes committed by Israel against Palestinians. In the early hours of this morning, an 85-year-old woman was brutally attacked by a Palestinian terrorist when he bashed her head in and left her for dead in the southern Tel Aviv suburb of Holon. Police immediately declared this a terror attack, and after an extensive manhunt, the perpetrator was found dead by apparent suicide. We now go to Berlin, where the mayor of Berlin has torpedoed an event that was set to honor Navi Pillay. Navi Pillay is the head of that very, very controversial UN Commission of Inquiry that I just mentioned, accusing Israel of war crimes against the Palestinians. Now, the mayor said that the views held by Navi Pillay and the actual event did not enjoy the support of the majority of the population of Berlin. Israel's ambassador to Germany, Ron Prosser, said that when he heard that Navi Pillay was being honored, it was made very, very clear to the mayor exactly who Navi Pillay is, and she understood immediately what needed to be done. And in final news, and I always try and end off our bulletins with some positive news. However, this is a very, very important story. Israel's Minister of Tourism has said that they will fight back against plans by online booking agents, Booking.com, to attach a travel warning or a safety warning to listings in the West Bank. He said that this is politically motivated and could lead to diplomatic issues. A spokesperson for Booking.com said this did not mean that Booking.com is taking any kind of position. But of course, in Israel, we have faced this before with Airbnb, something that we fought at the highest possible levels. So this brings us to the end of today's headlines. I will be keeping an eagle eye on proceedings at the UN and bringing you all those updates in our broadcasts. But don't forget in the meantime to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We are taking a little break with content and our newsletter until after Rosh Hashanah next week. So don't panic if you don't receive your weekly newsletter. And if you do want to receive it, please contact us either via our website or via our Facebook page. And you can find us at Lottel's site. Give us a like or a follow, or hey, maybe do both. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. You guys know what to do. Click on that red subscribe button and give us some likes and share our content. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. And don't forget that you and I have a date tomorrow as I bring you those top stories.